All right, guys, we have time for the quiz. So let's fucking do it.
Oh, the quiz.
Let's do this
The
fucking quiz,
quiz.
Jack.
Let's do it.
Thanks for getting all the way through to episode 8, give me the opportunity to do this quiz. So this was actually a bit of a brainchild from during lockdown. Our family did a Zoom quiz like with all our family, and the way that we did it was we picked a topic and we quizzed at each other. And from just doing this quiz, I just found out so much about someone that's prehistoric, and I thought it was all admirable and fairly relevant to property and business to some degree. So the quiz is on Arthur Guinness, and I thought it'd be fun to just do a live quiz and go around and see what people's answers were. But yeah, I mean, we can obviously talk between the questions because some of them are quite interesting to talk about. So just generally about Arthur Guinness, he's obviously an Irish brewer, entrepreneur, and then later on in life a philanthropist. He was the inventor of the Guinness beer, and he founded the Guinness Brewery at St James's Gate in Dublin in 1759. Guinness is actually the most valuable Irish brand in the world and is valued at 2.51 billion. And is famous for its obviously single drink Guinness, which is now owned by Diageo, which takes 119.5 seconds to pour, which probably could have been a question. And just to sort of scoot over some of the things that...
That's to settle, isn't it? 119 seconds is to settle once you've poured it.
No, that's the whole
for it to-
duration.
for the hydrogen.
That's the whole duration for it to be poured, settle halfway, and then poured again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been to the Guinness factory twice, Stu.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. You're a bit of a pro, mate. I just drink it, or used to drink it. Their Guinness Zero is unbelievable, by the way, if you've not tried it.
I haven't tried that,
That's
but I
great.
will try that, actually.
I was so hooked on Guinness when I was drinking. I actually drove all the way to, I drove about an hour away to go to a Waitrose that just stocked it the day it come out. I rang about 20 of them because I was so keen on trying their Guinness Zero, and literally done a 2-hour round trip just to get a 4-pack.
Straight to the corner shop.
I like to try things first.
You're like one of those Prime guys, aren't you, Stuart? I bet you was ringing around those local shops. Are you stocking any Prime? Got any Prime?
I had to go to wanky Waitrose. I'm an M&S buyer, mate. I don't really like Waitrose, but I'll go there if they've got Guinness Zero.
Lovely. Cool. So back onto Big Arthur. So just running through a few things that he did, which I think are admirable, and then we'll come on to some other things later. But he invented and patented the widget that goes inside the can. He was the first to ever trademark a business in the United Kingdom, which is the harp and his signature. And we was actually talking about trademarking the other day. But anyway, he promised and delivered all UK soldiers a pint of Guinness on Christmas Day. And he was the first company in the United Kingdom to introduce employee benefits, which is pretty cool. So, he's got some huge legacy items. So I definitely recommend that if this doesn't wet your whistle on Arthur Guinness, go and Google him and read up on him. He's a super interesting bloke. Cool. So the quiz is 5 questions. 2 are semi-related to property, 2 are family related to him, and then the last one is just a sort of bit of a curveball. I will do multiple choice, I think. Because it'll make it a bit easier. Cool. So as background, Arthur Guinness negotiated a contract and a lease on a 4-acre site in the centre.
Wait, Jack, is this how do we answer? Are we shouting out? Or are you going to go around us one by one?
I'll go round one by one. I'll just say, I mean, just shout whatever you think, and we'll try and time it correctly. Part of his obviously expansion and setting up and scaling his brewery, he negotiated a lease in the centre of Dublin, which was 4 acres. And it's obviously now, been coined and changed to St James's Gate, which is where the lease was set. But this is out of 3 multiple choice. How long did he sign the lease for? Was it A, 200 years, B, 1,000 years, or C, 9,000 years? When you got your answer,
C
for Rye.
Yeah, I think I've heard this before. I think it is C, and it was like for quite a cheap price or something, and he's still paying. I think I'm
going to go for C, because I thought it was 10,000 years. So now I'm confused whether it's actually 1,000 or C. So I'm going to throw curveball in and just go B.
Nice. What were you, Stu? You were C as well.
Yeah, I think I'm C. Yeah, I think I heard that he negotiate a really cheap price or something, and still pays it.
So it is C. So in 1759, he agreed a lease for 9,000 years on the space. Now, the coolest part of it is he managed to negotiate the water supply was completely free for the duration of the lease. So the big kicker there is that one of the biggest materials used in brewery is water. And he was an absolute genius negotiating that completely free indefinitely.
So water was free, but also though the lease was not indexed. Isn't that right? So the price is the price. It was a fixed sum, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm coming on to that. Question number 2.
Sorry.
If the water was free,
But did they when he took the lease out? Do you reckon they knew that they were going to do it as a brewery?
yeah, I
Because
think
you'd think if you were using it as a normal business that your water rates wouldn't be that
I
much.
think they did because he came from a brewery to set up his own one, so I think they knew he was going to be a brewer.
Okay.
And he expanded, and when he expanded, he lost that lease, didn't he? Because he went from 4 acres to like 20 acres or some shit.
Yeah, I think he actually bought the free. I think he actually bought the site
And the lease
at that
isn't in
point.
force now.
Yeah. But until that point,
Yeah.
if the water was free and the site is 4 acres, what annual rent did he agree in 1759? A, 500 pints of beer. B, 2 horse and carriages. Or C, 45 quid.
Well, I was gonna C for the only thing with money in it. C.
I'm gonna wait. Are we? This is what he negotiated at the time in 1750.
At the time in 1759, 500 pints of beer, 2 horses and carriages. Or C, 45 quid.
I'm gonna go A. 500 pints of beer.
I would have gone 500 pints of beer, but I think it's the money. See,
It's 45 quid.
45 quid. Okay.
what a deal! Index linked, or that's what he's still paying today, or would be paying today.
Yeah, so I think he's bought the freehold.
I'm pretty sure he expanded the site.
Inflation calculator UK. Let's see if we can actually.
I mean, what
work
was
out.
£45? What year was this?
That's what I'm looking at now.
Deal makers, 300 years ago, striking deals.
How much was £45?
£6,747.
Oh, it can't be. It's got to be a lot more than that. It's got to be a lot more than that.
No, $45 in 1759 was worth $1,786.
It's got to be a lot more than that.
That's what I've got it as.
Yeah, no, sorry, I've got 7,300.
1759. The problem is, though, is that it's not necessarily, it's no way. It's like the value, the inflation.
It's not inflation, isn't it?
We talked about this in a chat about inflation being not necessarily just because £45 is 1,700 is the fact that back then £45 you could have bought for probably a building.
I completely agree with that. Like it's like old money, right? What would have been in old money terms? It's not necessarily correct to just devise it by inflation, the rate of inflation.
Yeah, because asset values aren't all the same.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, it will be down into pennies and sixpence if we try and to, relate that to the cost of maybe a beer or something, because that's quite easy. You just tie it to a price of something at that time. But yeah, I agree with you, Dorian. You could probably bought multiple houses for that value. Oh, actually, I've got inflationary terms. It is about £8,000 below.
That sounds about right.
It's the third question.
But the problem is, though, in 1759, I just checked, you could buy a house for around about £100.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're talking, it's this is the big issue I have with inflation. Is not only it doesn't actually say, just because that monetary figure has increased doesn't mean you can buy the same thing.
Yeah.
From the purchase, and not only that, it's the quality too. I don't know what actually the standard of the houses were in 1759, but I think they were building in stone at that point. But
also the scarcity of the product.
I mean, have you not? We've got a few property. We've got property that's from the 1400s.
Wow.
And they're buildings.
But you got to think of the scarcity as well, because of deflationary technology. Like a pen when it first came out, pens are pretty expensive. But what's a pen now? But that's because of technology making it easier to produce them. Whereas houses are better to use as like a measure of inflationary effects, because they've always been scarce. We've pretty much always been undersupplied. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, scarcity plays into it.
Okay, I I just asked GPT, if what was the price of a pint in 1759 of beer? Or I don't think they did pints then, but what was the price of a beer?
Penny.
And versus now? And they said 1759, the price of a pint was a penny, right? And the price of an average pint today, I actually don't know what that is, but they said between £4 to £5. Is that about right for those drinkers here?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, therefore, the inflation for that is 29,900%.
I was in Pall Mall yesterday, and I bought myself an alcohol-free beer, and it cost me £5.70 for a bottle. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Fucking hell, that's just crazy money." But yeah,
When we were in Mipham this year, obviously Ben doesn't drink, and I was tucking into some beers. It was cheaper to have a large Heineken, so like a pint of Heineken, than it was a little Diet Coke.
Jesus.
£9 for a large Heineken, €9 for a large Heineken, €10 for a little Diet Coke, and I was at the other end of the table, going like that to Ben, winding him up.
Go on then. What's the next question, Jack?
Cool. So that's enough on the lease stuff, but we have. I'm going to stay in the theme of children because we talked about sort of population and having children. So and it's quite an interesting part of his life. He was a huge family man, Arthur Guinness. So he was a very devoted goat and devoted to his legacy for his children. So how many? Question number 3: how many children did Arthur have with his wife Olivia Whitmore? A, 4, which is 2 hotel rooms. B, 15, or C, 21.
I'm going to go back in those days. They were right at it. So I'm gonna go for the max 21. It's probably too much to be honest.
I'll go for 15. 15 is a 30-year. I mean, you got to remember that's one every other year, right? That's 30 years of that poor wife. Can you imagine being pregnant and giving birth to 21 kids? I think 15 is pretty
That was
much.
most of their adult life. Most of their adult life was being
Rusty bucket, mate.
pregnant.
That's what that is.
Yeah. Anyway, the answer is C. So 21 kids. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Olivia lived, but yeah, probably pregnant for most of her life.
Wow, what a devoted husband.
So in those times, again, just from some of the history books I read, it was that was kind of like what was expected and what society and what normality was. But out of those, and I actually don't know these figures. I didn't when I knew what this quiz was going to be. I purposely didn't do any research. This was just from a thing, but I bet you a good portion of those did not live because mortality for children was massive. The amount of loss people suffered on a daily basis was just insane back then versus what we have now.
Wow.
Cool. Ready for the next one? Mortality. Question number 4. How many of their children made it to adulthood ages? I think we've already touched on this. So A is all of them, B is 10 of them, and C is 18 of them.
I'm going to go with A.
It's got to be C.
I reckon B. 10 of them. This is a high mortality rate, but
Oh, no. Sorry, I meant 10 of them. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was 10 of them. And out of the 10, 3 were brewers, 3 died in the same year, only living a mere age of 30. So a further 3 died before their 30th. So out of the 10, 7 of them passed 30 years old.
We just could not imagine that in today's world, could we? Like, imagine losing. That was actually common back then. It was expected.
It's a 30% mortality rate.
Sorry, 66% mortality rate.
Yeah.
There was 21, right? And there's only 7 that survived after 30.
Sorry, yeah, death rate, yeah.
2 and 3.
Get right, 1759. The average life expectancy in 1759 was, right, around 35 to 40 years.
Nuts.
However, this figure is misleading due to high infant mortality rates. But on average, it was in their 50s. But today, it's like nearly 80.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Nuts. Got that next question.
Right. This is next and last because I know we've got some hard stop times. So this one's more geographical. So the top 3 consumers of the drink in the world are England, Ireland, and so multiple choice coming up. A, United States of America, B, Nigeria, or C, Wales.
I've got to go. You've instinctively got to go USA because the population is much higher. So
this is not per capita. This is obviously just volume.
Still USA.
I'm going to say Nigeria. Curveball.
Yeah, I'm going to say Nigeria. Yeah, I'm going to say Nigeria. I reckon they love a Guinness.
Love a fucking Guinness in Nigeria, mate.
And super malt. That's a big seller over there, isn't it? So the correct answer is B, Nigeria.
No way. Wow, I'm surprised with that. No, I'm surprised. Okay.
Why? Why Nigeria?
Right, so stag do, guys.
Nigeria.
I think Rye's the only one that's not married.
Yeah, banging. Nice one.
Go on
Jack.
for a lot longer, but yeah, fun question. And if you haven't read up on Arthur Guinness's legacy, his family, and what they've gone on to do, is a pretty amazing.
We should do a bit of R&D and make Jack's third tour to the Guinness factory. We'll do a one-off special and film it at the Guinness factory. I'll be up for that. Give me the green light with the missus.
If we're going to do that, then we can go to Amsterdam and do a tour of the Heineken one.
Good. We finally got the quiz done.
I'm happy about that. Well done. Nice one, Jack. Someone else should come up with the quiz next. Dorian, you'll be good
Sure,
at that.
we'll do.
Come up with the quiz for us at some point. It's got to be fucking juicy. Fucking juicy.
The Beaumont family history.
Yeah, nice. Well, it won't be long. Actually, no. Do you know what? Beaumont was one of the names in the Battle of Hastings in 1066. One of the French names. There's 100 names that came across on that boat, and Beaumont was one of them. So that's my claim to fame. I want to do one of those trees. What's
William the Conqueror?
Yeah, with William the Conqueror. What's that? What's it called? That company that do it, where you can track back
Ancestry.
But is that the name of it? It's just called Ancestry, is it?
Ancestry. Yeah.
You send your DNA off to one of them, don't you, mate? And they don't track everyone else's DNA. And
Yeah.
give you a full.
Isn't there a Welsh one called Incestory?
No, that's headquartered in Henley, mate. Sorry.
Well, on that note, it's been a great episode. Nice one.
Well, they did. Members of the Ton did actually, marry one another. So even if they were cousins.
All right, look, thank you everyone at home who's listened to this. Hopefully it's been another good podcast. Slightly different makeup today, but I quite enjoyed it. Bit of a tangent, sort of chat and waffling. But yeah, thank you. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We release these podcasts every Thursday at 5:30 a.m. on YouTube and Spotify. And please share this podcast with anyone who you think may enjoy it or may be useful for. We very much appreciate it. And that's us for now. And we'll see you in episode 9.
I'm going to do the Christmas tree now.
The Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree of life and death. Big love.
See you later.
Yeah. Bonjour.
Roundup sound.